In the midst of much confusion, we've decided to unify. We won't let the vision die. We know there is a greater purpose, one aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to what's preferred by Yah. Man keep his hand in the hand of Yah, with woman by his side. Our children will follow, and together in unity we'll shine and glorify Yah. Together forever we'll glorify Yah. In unity together we'll glorify Yah. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great Yah family. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great Yah family.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing will ever come between us.
Our bond is tight, doing what's required and what's right.
You know there is a greater purpose.
One aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to what's preferred by Yah. Man keep his hand in the hand of Yah, with woman by his side. Our children will follow, and together in unity we'll shine and glorify Yah. Together forever we'll glorify Yah. In unity together we'll glorify Yah. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great Yah family. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great Yah family. Yah gave us back to one another.
He opened up our eyes and he gave us the gifts of the Yah.
We know there is a greater purpose.
One aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to what's preferred by Yah. Man, keep your hands in the hands of Yah, with woman by your side. Our children will follow.
Together in unity we'll shine and
Glorify Yah.
together forever.
I know we can do it.
In unity
Doing me and you that
glorify Yah.
right
In
now.
truth and in unity.
Truth and unity.
One love, one destiny,
Hey,
one
hey,
great Yah family.
hey.
Together forever we'll glorify Yah. In unity together
Unity.
glorify Yah.
We gotta have that. We gotta have that.
One love, one destiny,
Still got the glory. Yeah.
together forever.
Don't you know?
We'll glorify Yah.
Truth
In
has been my
unity together
word.
we'll glorify Yah.
You broke
In
through.
truth and in
I
unity.
must be fast.
Yes. One love, one
Yeah.
destiny,
Yeah.
one great
Yeah. Now,
together forever.
together,
We'll glorify
we'll
Yah.
glorify Yah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Glorify Yah.
Don't you know it's gonna be alright? It's gonna be alright. Yeah.
One great
Come on, let's walk together hand in hand. Right now, truth and unity. One love,
One family, together forever. Yeah, yeah. Yes, baby. Truth and unity. That's my song right there. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all come here so much. I got shy. Shalom, call me Astral. Let your brother correct as I am. Astral, and I'm gonna play this, but right now I'm just gonna put it on pause. And we're gonna go ahead and get started with this week's Torah portion reading. Let me go ahead and share that song out for those who like it. If you want to, just let me know. Shoot me a message or something. All right, so we're going to get to it. This week's Torah portion reading for those of you who are watching. Look at the pretty birds. Look at the pretty birds. Look at the pretty birds. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, halaya, man. Yeah, con, man. Yeah. So the point, subject, saying such is, man shall not live off bread alone. Subject matter this week's Torah portion. We're gonna get right into it. The law of the God of, I'm just gonna say it, black people, but he's really the God of everything he's created. All right, so let me just say it like that. Shalom to if you just joined in, please send this out, share, like, subscribe, get somebody else to climb up in here. I challenge you, see if you can get somebody new. All right, Tawada, thank you for to everybody helping with the login. Greatly appreciate you. All right, special blessing, salute to you. So grateful to be able to speak a little bit, to be able to sleep in for a little bit. I ain't gonna stunt that. I mean, I was able to do some ministry. So check us out. I am currently looking at a picture of two pretty birds. You women should be teaching your children like mother birds, like baby birds. These babies should be able to right up next to you. They should be able to nuzzle right up next to you. They should be able to say, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, I'm hungry. Hold me. You know what I'm saying? So the point of saying all that is to say, once you come into the perspective of that and think about the love of a baby along with a baby child, you start to be, you take into consideration the goodness of your own heart. And why do I say that? You take into consideration the goodness of your own heart, because if you are any decent person, if you have any soul, if you have any inkling of affection, you would know that if you seen this beautiful bird and just sitting in this nest, and you like, you know what? I want some eggs. There should be some eggs in that nest. Or you just like, you just say if you're a bad person, right? Now, none of y'all are bad people, right? All of y'all are good people. Right? No, y'all ain't never did nothing bad. But just imagine if you knock down that bird's nest. But when you knock down the bird's nest, you don't only just knock down the bird's nest, you break the baby eggs, and then you break up the baby nests, and then you kill the baby mommy. Oh no! Is that good? No, that's not good. That's bad. That's bad. So when we think about a mashpacha, when we think about a family, we think about consideration, we think about the laws of Yahweh, we think about how he told us to cultivate and behave with our families. We think about how he told us grace and mercy, even to something so small as a bird, that not even one of these falls to the ground without the Most High knowing about it. That's what Hamashiach said. He says not even one of these fall to the ground without his Father knowing about it. And then he says, how much more special are you? Or how much more important, how much more are blessed are you? So think about that. First, Yahweh gives the children of Israel a law on how to not mistreat his creations. And then he teaches us that law and embeds it in us so deeply that he gives us a rule. See, Yahweh teaches us how to be good, not only to people, but to all his creation. Now, animals are called beasts of burden because their job is to do things.
the ant does something, the snail does something, the spider does something, the bird does something. Each one of them does something. They're for their own creation. But the Father shows us mercy in teaching us that in us taking or chancing upon a bird, if we take the bird, do not take the mother with the babies, that it might go well with thee. Now, I haven't even went into other principles. This week's Torah portion, we're going to be reading from Deuteronomy chapter 21 through 25, Isaiah 54. I'm supposed to be going to a congregation today. I got to check my time. And also Matthew chapter 24 for the gospel. But we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do it in reverse. We're going to do Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. And the reason we're going to do it like that, did everybody see that? I'm so glad I got that recorded. I think I just seen this change. Did anybody else besides me just see this number change? I think I just, either I'm tripping or I just seen this number change. I got to come back to this video stamp on this marker. So we're going to do Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. And I'm going to go check my book afterwards if I see if that just switched over. So let's get right to it. Matthew, did you all see that on the screen? Did you all see that? That was kind of bugged. Or was I tripping? Did y'all see the screen? Like the number switch? I mean, was that a Mandela effect? What was that? I don't have my glasses on, so I can blame it on my glasses. All right. I'm gonna have to come back to that. So we'll do Matthew chapter 29, verse 24, and we're doing 29 through 42. All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so Matthew chapter 24, we're gonna start at verse 29. All right. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. That's happening right now. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great, not a little bit, and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. That's happening right now. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and put forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye see all these signs, know that it is near, even at the doors. Y'all better check the weather. We are at these signs right now. Matthew chapter 24, verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these signs be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the day that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. If you hear me okay, put a 7 in the room. If you can't hear me okay, put a 3 in the room. All right. I'll check the comments once we finish reading. Now, we're only reading down to verse 42, okay? So we're in verse 39. We're only reading down to verse 42. Matthew chapter 24, verse 44. As in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark and knew not that the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall be two in the field, and one shall be taken and the other left. Two men shall be grinding in the mill, and one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord doth come. All right. If you can, if you would like to, please repeat after me. All right. All right. Say, call. I'm gonna bring the screen up a little bit for me. All right. If you can't repeat after me, TORAH, thank you for letting me know it's a 7 room. Repeat after me. Call. If anybody knows Hebrew in here, type it in the room. Call Asherah Debar Yahweh. I'm sorry, that was a OSPI member just interrupted the class. I had to pause her. I'm so sorry. Hold on, we'll get back to you. Call. She was trying. No, she was like, us. Did you hear? She was trying. Call Asherah Debar Yahweh Na Aisha Wa Na Shamai. Repeat after me. Kal Asherah, Debar Yahweh, Na Aisha, Wa Na Shamai. We're going to say it one more time. Repeat after me. Kal Asherah. Great job. Debar Yahweh, Na Aisha. Na Aisha. It's Aisha. Na Aisha. That was better. Okay. Wa Na Shamai. Great job. Repeat after me. Kal Asherah. Debar Yahweh. Na Aisha. Wa Na Shamai. Great job. What you just said was all that the Lord has said will we do and hear, and you spoke it in the language of Paleo Hebrew, the language that Israelites spoke before captivity. So it was the language I was spoken at the Tower of Babel. It's already been proven. Some people have an issue with it. I have no problem speaking it or teaching it. Those who want to know. So what you just said was all that the Lord has said will we do and hear. This is something that the Israelites said when we were at the bottom of Mount Sinai making a covenant to our God. We said that everything you said, we're going to obey. Now, that's typically something that we say at the end of a Torah portion reading. All right. And we usually don't say it at the end of a gospel reading, but I wanted to use this opportunity to teach everybody. Now, I wanted to read this first. This is what the Most High put into my spirit. Matthew chapter 24, and we read from verse 24 down to verse 42. And what did we read? We read signs of what Yahushua said it'll be like before he comes. So this is called the Great Tribulation. Now, in case you all don't know, these things are already happening on Earth. All right, 7.2 magnitude in Japan, Cambodia, Texas, ill weather. Now, I know some people are like, things like that happen all the time, or stuff like that been happening since the end of the world, and that's true. I mean, since the people been saying that since the end of the world, and like I said, that's true. But we truly live in a world where we have strange events happening. Not only are we having strange events happening, let me pause real quick. Not only do we have strange events happening, we're having strange weather events happening. Now, me, I like studying science. I'm not the best at science, but it does tickle my fancy. So when we look at what we have as far as the sun, I'm going to mention it very briefly because it's worth mentioning. The sun is actually doing what's called solar mass ejections in the solar cycle 25 maxes. We just came out of that. So I think we're solar max is 26. The point of saying such is to say the rotation of the sun does matter. And if you go and look at the sun, go and Google images, solar flares, there are portions of the sun that is already black. There are portions of the sun that is already turning dark, that is shooting out solar filaments plasma filaments into the atmosphere. And what that's doing when the sun has these small pockets of explosions and it sends out these filaments, it leaves deep crevices or cracks in the sun. So imagine the sun has a scab on it, right? And as it's turning around, each one of those scabs are falling off. And each one of those scabs that fall off are different shapes, and there's different amounts of extreme projected light that burst out of it. Those bursts are called solar mass ejections. Whenever those happen, those actually affect our ionosphere on our planet. Remember, our ionosphere is a part of our atmosphere, which people call the firmament. All right. Well, when it affects our ionosphere, what that does is that actually causes, and this is just basic science, and I apologize, I'm not very good at this. That actually causes waves on our Earth's core, which in turn causes earthquakes. So not only do you have earthquakes, you have volcanoes. You have the sun being blotted out black on certain portions. Is anybody really ready for the day when the sun blows out and it's completely black? Well, we're reading about it happening. Not only do we have that happening, this is going to be a strange turn of events. And I just want to show you real quick because kangaroos apparently are starting to fly. I'm sorry, this isn't a hoax. August the 29th, 2024, flying kangaroo, extraordinary morning. Kangaroo jumps backyard fence, but the story doesn't end there. It didn't hop over the backyard fence. The backyard fence that it jumped over, it was already projecting from 20 feet back, going up and over, and then landing over the yard. Kangaroos are starting to fly, y'all. I just thought I'd share that information. So we're living in some very peculiar times, and Hamashiach tells us to watch for these things. One of the first things that the Most High tells us, and I'll just let you all know, if you are a part of the Yasharala community, but you are concerned about learning about stones, and you want to know about stones, but you don't want nobody to, let's say, potentially judge you or say that you're involved in something wrong, or you want to learn about science, or you want to learn about the solar system, but you don't want nobody to say you're doing. Listen, Yahushua, he taught us everything, and he gave us a way of actually being able to speak his words. Watch this. We've read the chapter. We're done with Matthew. Guess what, everybody? We're done with Matthew. Now all we're doing is we're doing what's called a madrash. A madrash means you just explain what you just read. So we're done with Matthew. But it's so powerful, we got to see some of the stuff that's going on. What did Christ prophesy to us? A few things he told us. He tells us, learn now the parable of the fig tree. When its branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that what? That summer is not. So you just think of, we are a agricultural people. The Hebrews, Negroes, we're not just like, and I'm a great mechanic. I build houses. Well, I got my high school, the GE, dib, and now I'm gonna do this, and this is my job. No, we actually were farmers. We were shepherd men. We were, warriors, obviously. We were a nation of kings and priests that were outside people. So obviously we would know by the example Christ is telling us, go outside, look at the shoots. See, this is something you say to a baby, but even though you say it to a baby, an adult will get it once they do it. It'll be like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Hamashiach says, when you see the branches yet tender, right, and put forth its leaves, you know that summer is nigh. You can't miss the signs. So Hamashiach teaches us with seasons. So as going into the summer season, you can tell it when you start to smell the flowers, you see the butterflies, you see the birds, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gets that special feeling. Yahushua says, it's coming, it's happening. The same way you can tell when the seasons are changing, the same way you can tell the signs of the end of the coming of this age. And I am not a person that, I don't like not sharing information. It's just that I'm restricted from, my hands are tied in certain examples, all right? In a lot of situations right now, my hands are tied with ribbons of love. So with that being said, I would love for everybody to be able to actually take time and a part of the Israelite community and start paying attention to astronomy. It's not illegal to look at the signs of heaven. Don't be dismayed by them. I know you got certain people in the Israelite community that kind of have you shook and make, oh, you going off if you do that. But you can't look at them. You can't think about them. All right. What you got to do is think about what Christ said. This is one of the examples where Yahweh tells us to not only use the seasons, but to pay attention to the signs, the times, because his coming is really happening. And that's the part that's crazy. He says, just like you can tell summer is close, he says, so likewise ye, when you see all these things. And then he gives us a list of what we're currently going through in 2026. All right. He says, so likewise, when you see all these things, he says, no, it is near, even at the doors. So there's a such book that's called the Apocalypse or the Revelations, not to be confused with the Apocrypha, but the Apocalypse or the Revelation or the coming of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. That is a real terrifying concept that all world nations have confessed, taught about, talked about. And even if some cultures or belief system, they're Islamic culture, they still refer to the prophecies of Christ the King. They still do. They just expect to respect Islam, but they still give prophecy respect to Christ the King. Point of saying such as to say, I'm going to show a kind of troubling. If you have children in the room, just it's not ill in nature pertaining to it being nudity or anything like that, but it's a disturbing image that is an apocalypse image of an end of the world image. All right. So that's what it is. It's a pretty graphic image of like an end of the world setting. So if you're okay with your children seeing it, it's just basically skulls and dead people, and animals are alive, but people are dead. But I'm gonna switch over to this page real quick. Viewer discretion is advised. You might be like, oh, that ain't that bad, and it might not be. It might not be. I just wanted to make sure I inform you first. All right. So let's see. I want to make sure I be careful. Okay, so here's our image. All right, I told you it really wasn't that bad, but it's bad enough. Okay, all right. So it's not that bad, but it's bad enough. All right. So the reason why I brought this image up is because this is an apocalypse picture. All right, and you might say, what in the world is going on in that picture? Well, let me kind of explain it to you. All right. This is a picture from the OASP depicting what Christ's return is going to come, what it's going to be like. All right. Now, remember, this image is where, I just seen a couple things that just kind of troubled me. I don't really want to point out to nobody, but I'll come back and point them out later. All right. So this is the entire image. This picture, this mural, I think was about 17 feet tall. So all cultures in the world have had, and that's not even a culture. That's just John Blue Newborough doing witchcraft. He's like, here go Mary, here go Martha. Point of saying such as to say, Hamashiach tells us what these end sign times and prophecies events will be. And these events are going to happen, and they're happening right now, from everything from so-called UFO sightings to trees. Hear me when I say TREES. Trees are being documented as getting up and walking. I said that. You heard me. There are videos online, not AI, not CGI, of people like, what's going on? Why is that? And there are videos online of trees moving their own locations. I got to figure out what that is in the Bible. But there's so much weird things happening in the world right now. It's worth taking time. If you don't want to read the Bible, it's worth taking time listening to somebody who will read it. So we see that Christ tells us, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Ha means the, Mashiach means Messiah. Ha, the Mashiach Messiah. So the Messiah tells us, he says, that day no man knoweth, no, not even the angels in heaven, but my Father only. So I'm not a person who says, it's going to be tomorrow, it's going to be next week, it's going to be 30, 20, 30, 19. I think it's very foolish whenever people try to put prophetic dates on when Christ's coming will be, but it's very important for us to always think about it. It's always important for us to consider it, because like he said, we don't know. All right. No man knoweth. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure I give that disclaimer. I am not a person saying, oh, it's definitely coming like a late freight train, like hard and fast. It's coming. All right. But as the days of Noah were. Now, what did Christ mean when he said, but as the days of Noah were? In the days of Noah, go back and teach your children. Maybe today would be a good day. Go and watch the story of Noah's Ark and teach your children how the Most High brought sudden destruction upon the world when everybody was partying. Everybody was having fun, kicking it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like to keep the Shabbat. I like to be set apart for the Shabbat. You know what I'm saying? I can do all of those things that people do any day of the week. I don't like doing certain things on a Sabbath day. I like resting. I like embracing wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Rejuvenating myself. You know, I like cuddling on the Shabbat day. You know what I'm saying? Um, but above all, you know, I love being able to refresh myself in Yahweh. So since we don't know, the Most High tells us, he says, but of that day and hour hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels in heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Because those floods came all of a sudden and people were washed away in their wickedness. But it won't be water this time. This time it's going to be fire. And that's what's so important, because the sun is and has already started giving active volcanic activity. All right. You can literally measure how long it takes from a solar mass ejection to actually send a plasma wave from the sun to Earth. And sometimes it's just in a matter of a couple hours. And then it's like, are we going to have a Carrington event? So there was just an M7.4 magnitude earthquake in Colombia. And that's bad. This is a very big thing. There's sleeping giant earthquakes. There's volcanoes. There's sleeping giant volcanoes, all right, that are waiting to erupt right now. Okay. And you know, people aren't really taking heed to it. So I just want to show you real quick a few things. Let me go here. All right. Let me show you an example of. All right. So if everybody can see this image that's on the screen now, this is Stefan Burns. All right. Let me give a salute to the homie. You know, so he does an excellent job of reporting space solar weather. He's a solar, space weather bro, astrophysicist. The dude is actually a beast. His name is Stefan Burns. Check him out, big him up, like up his page, all that good stuff. Now, this is a coronagraph. What that means is that you can take a picture of the sun. I'm not a flat earther. I believe in real science. I believe in natural philosophy. I believe in true science, not zetetic astronomy. So you can, with the right telescope under the right lenses, actually look at the sun. Okay. And if you have a very powerful telescope, which is nothing but a bunch of glasses. Telescope is nothing but a bunch of eyeglasses stacked on top of one another. And the bigger you make the glasses, the more you stack them on top of, the further you can see. So a telescope is nothing more but eyeglasses. You just modify them, stack them up, make them larger, and stretch it out, and you can see further. Now imagine you take those eyeglasses or telescope with extended and stretched out lenses. Now imagine you put a film over one of those, or all of those lenses. And imagine each one of those lenses will help you to be able to actually look at the sun, but not look at the, effects of the harmful rays. Well, that's all the coronagraph does. There's so many space instruments that will give you a clear view of the sun. And, first of all, Black people have to start paying attention to space weather, especially considering themselves to be holy or the children of Israel. How can you petition that you're, that child of God, and you don't even know about the sun? You don't even know about the moon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know about the creation that God made. So the point of saying such things is find something small within space and learn about it. And the Most High, he has everything named off. The point of saying such is to say all of these dark holes, these are huge canyons. This isn't fake. These are huge canyons to where the sun is always in rotation. So these are huge canyons, and each one of these rotations are called a solar cycle. So I think we're in solar maxes. If you look at it really close, you see a bunch of sparks and a bunch of little flashes. You see, these are called, the name escapes me at the time. The point of saying such is to say, every time when these canyons crack in, the waves that are sent to our planet affects us dramatically. And it's not talked about enough, but it's biblical. It's not talked about enough, but it's prophetically the signs that the Most High said he would have happen before. I'm not even sharing my screen. My bad. He said what? Oh yeah, all praise, man, all praise. Hallelujah. Here's our astrophysicist Stefan Burns. All right. Hallelujah. Um, yeah, Mark 8:24. He looked up and said, I see a man in the trees walk. Oh, word. I see, wow, man in the trees walking. You know, that's excellent, man. That's excellent. The water for that. And this is what we see. Yeah, yeah, it's real, brother. There's videos of tree, and it's not normal. There's old videos, and there's no recent. There's new videos. Okay. All right. So all of this stuff is real. All of this stuff is happening. All right. So I'm gonna scroll back just a little bit because I want you all, especially that are interested, to be able to see this. So all of these dark holes. All right. If you can see that, all of those dark holes are actual, like I said, canyons that are on the earth right now that are giving out solar mass ejections, and then the sun caves in on itself. But then when Hamashiach tells us clearly that the sun shall not give forth his light, we're currently in our generation watching. You see that right there? Did you see that? This is a coronagraph again. Now imagine this right here. So let me explain this right here. So this black spot is actually the sun. Don't worry, the sun is not black. What it is that there's a sticker, like there's a telescope. It has a long arm on it, and at the end of the long arm, it has a sticker, right? And that sticker goes right in front of the sun. So as the sun explodes, right, you won't see the brightness of the sun, but you'll be able to see the corona. You'll be able to see the explosions from the outside. So that's what you're looking at right there to help that, so you'll know what you're looking at. All right. So let's see. Let's get back to the scriptures real quick. All right, there we go. Matthew chapter 24, verse 38. For as the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered to the ark and knew not the flood came and took them away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two people be in the field, and the one shall be taken another left. Two men shall be grinding at the mill, and two women shall be grinding at the mill, and the one shall be taken and the other left. Last warning, watch therefore, for ye know not the hour that your Lord doth come. All right, hallelujah. All right, so that's the fair warning. That's the fair warning of keeping a watchful eye on the coming for Hamashiach, the coming of Hamashiach Yahushua. Pay attention to the constellations, the signs, the seasons, the weather. You know, we've been having some terrifyingly strange weather. Nothing is normal about this weather that we've been having. All right. So that's the problem, you know. That's the problem. We haven't seen anything like what we're currently seeing. Now, y'all thought I was joking about the kangaroo, but I actually wasn't. I want to show y'all this video clip real quick, and you kind of got to see this with your own eyes. All right. What the kangaroo does is kind of unexplainable, but it's not just this kangaroo. There's other animals that have been acting very strangely. And just to let you know, I have seen it. There's a video of a moose. All right, there's a video of a moose. You know what a moose is, right? Everybody know what moose are. What is multiple moose? Meese? We call multiple mooses, right? So there's a video of a moose, and this is before AI. This is not an AI generated video, okay? There are men in a motorboat, and they're flying, buddy. I mean, they're trucking. They got the motor. They're like, they're jumping on the water. And this is in Alaska. And the guy looks to the left and he's like, "Hey, Bubby, look at that." That's not an Alaskan accent. I'm sorry, I don't know what accent that was. And literally the moose is running on top of the water. The moose is running so fast, it's treading on top of the water going across a lake. We're seeing some very strange times, man. And I like to keep an eye out for this stuff. I don't care if somebody makes fun of me, call me names, whatever. If you don't see it, you won't know and won't even be able to consider for yourself. Check this out. 1, 2. Did you see that? The problem with this is that the kangaroo didn't jump off of anything. The kangaroo did 2 hops in the air. It jumped once, and then it jumped twice in the air and went higher than the house. The kangaroo jumped twice in the air, and the people was freaking. That's real. Now, here's the problem, children of Israel and other servants. Can you imagine when Yahweh sends kangaroos after us? Can you imagine when kangaroos turn on people and start picking up children and putting kangaroo, like people getting kids and putting them in the little joey pouch in their stomach and flying off? Do you all remember that kangaroos aren't anything but super rats? Kangaroos are large marsupials with stomach pouches that they carry their little joeys in. Now kangaroos are flying around Australia carrying away joeys and thems. Look at that. 1, 2, before it even got to the fence. And it looked like it was about to hop a 3rd time. But I don't know what to make of that. Y'all make of that what y'all will. Let me play this again so y'all know I didn't make this up. All right, Harold's son, flying kangaroo, extraordinary moment. Roo jumps backyard fence. Extraordinary moment. Roo jump. Took off 2 in the air. I've done that in video games. You know what that's called? That's called a double jump. You push the A button twice. I don't know if it had to do with the way it moved his tail or how big his feet is or how it flopped his body, because it kind of did like it threw itself. This kangaroo jumped in the air. I'm sorry. That's a double A tap. This means kangaroos can catch birds. Yeah, I don't want no smoke. I'm afraid of the Most High by Shem Mashiach Yahushua. Let's go ahead and get to it. This week's Torah portion from the prophet portion. All right. This week's Torah portion from the prophet portion. We're going to be reading the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 1 through verse 10. Guess what? That's a very short portion. That's very short. You know what that means? That means I actually will be able to read this Torah portion, prayerfully get some understanding, and then sit back and be able to contemplate on it. We don't have to go all day long. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1. Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yahweh. So what the Most High is encouraging you Israelites, he's telling you it's time to rejoice, it's time to praise. Now, this is going into our mother specifically. So when the Bible speaks, it speaks in, specifically, it's talking to Jerusalem, or it's talking to the children of Israel, or it's talking to, this is one of those examples to where our mother, Jerusalem, is being spoken of. So God loves Jerusalem. And what the Gentiles right now are doing over there, bombing and destroying it, Yahweh is against that. All right. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them extend the curtains of thy habitation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. That's a powerful statement. The Most High saying, I'm about to open up your house. I'm about to extend your tents. You living right here in this one little shack, but I'm about to spread out. I'm about to give you room. Yahweh says this, enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them extend the curtains of thy habitations. You see it? Spare not. Lengthen thy cords. Get ready. I'm about to give you big space. And strengthen thy stakes. The stakes is what you put down in the ground. You know, say, put that down in. Most High tells us he's going to extend our households, our home, our mother, Yerushalayim, Jerusalem specifically, and he's going to bring us back home. That's what he's talking about. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left. Imagine a mother, and the mother standing there, and she got a whole bunch of babies run up on the left side. She just hugging all of them. She's like, wow, my babies, come here. Where y'all, my babies too? Come here, my babies. That's what this is talking about. This is literally talking about Jerusalem accepting the true Israelites back home, and the joy we're going to feel and the joy our mother going to express to us. I'm reading it in context. I might not have pronounced that correctly, but I'm reading it in context. I was like, I'm reading it in context. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles. There's a verse right there that tells you all Gentiles will not die. There's some Israelites that's like, no Gentiles are gonna. I didn't make this up. I'm so grateful that Yahweh gave me this fortune, because I never did, and I'm not gonna back down, because brothers want to be in the same clique. Y'all want to be in the same group. Y'all just, if brothers is all in the same group saying all the same thing, that means they're all influenced by primarily one person. I ain't cut like that. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm not gonna let my banya, my sons, or my daughters be cut like that. We're truth seekers. The Bible says, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles. It don't even say that we're going to inherit the Gentiles, that we're going to destroy them, we're going to beat them, we're going to harm them, no. We're going to inherit the Gentiles so we can teach them, so we can train them. Yayarash, Yayarash, Yarash. The word that's here is Yarash. So Yarash is inherit, and then Yah at the front means you. And Yah wa Yayarash. So let's find out what does Yarash mean now. So Yah, somebody should write this down in a notebook, all right? I know you repeat it a couple times, but if you write it down, you'll remember it. So you have Yah, you have Ra, and you have Shah. Excuse me. I rebuke you, spirit of sleep. Bashem Shah Shah. Yarash. Yarash is how you say inherit, right? So the word inherit, Yarash, means we will possess the Gentiles. We will inherit the Gentiles. We will be heirs. They will be heirs. We be heirs of Gentiles. Yerash will be in possession of Gentiles. Yerash, we will succeed the Gentiles. Yerash, we will dispossess the Gentiles. Yerash, poverty. Yerash, drive. Yerash, enjoy. Yerash, poor. Yerash, expel. Yerash, utterly. Yerash, to seize, to dispossess, to take possession of, to inherit, to disinherit, to occupy, to impoverish, to be an heir. Yerash, to take a possession of, Yerash, to inherit, Yerash, to impoverish, to come to poverty, to be poor, Yerash, to be dispossessed, to be impoverished, to come to poverty. These brothers, I love them, but I can't stand on the side of Negroes that's teaching the Bible wrong. They can come and stand next to me, or they can invite me to rock with them on certain stuff, but I can't stand next to people who aren't teaching the Bible correctly. And they doing it on purpose. Some of them doing it on purpose because they don't want to switch their doctrine. Some of them is doing it out of ignorance, and some of them doing it because they don't want to change their stance in front of everybody. They don't want to just change their stance. Just change your stance and be like, I was teaching incorrectly. My bad. I didn't know that meant this. I forgot that verse. Make things better for everybody. Teach the Bible correctly. That's only fair. All right. So let's get back to this. So the Most High said that the children of Israel will yerash. All right. The word right here is inherit. All right. He says, and thy seed shall yerash the Gentiles. Now let's see what the word Gentiles is in the holy sacred Lashuan Kodash, the holy sacred tongue. I'm gonna scroll down. For thou shalt break forth, right? Kaya, payats, all right, parats. So, that's para. That's like parazah. That's funny. Parats, all right. So ta paratsia, okay. Let me see. We have Yamyan, which is right hand, and then we have and on the left, Shemaiah, and then you have and thy seed, Tzara, Wa Tzarai, Tzaraya, Tzarai. Oh, that's Ka. Excuse me, Tzarai Ka. All right, so that's Wa Tzarai Ka, right, and your seed. And then we have Yayarash, will inherit. And then we have, here's our word right here. What will we yayarash? We will inherit, we will inherit the goy. We will inherit the gawaya, gawarya. We will inherit the gawayama, gawarium. What is the word gawarium, goy, garia? What does it mean? It means Gentiles. What does the word Gentile means? Pay very close attention. The word gawad, gawadiyam, it means nation, it means heathen, it means Gentiles, it means people. It means the children of Israel are going to inherit nations, inherit people, usually of non-Hebrew people. Does everybody see that? I didn't make it up. I read it. I have comprehension skills given by the Father. I believe it. So the Most High says, for thou shalt break forth, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 3, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall, does anybody remember this word? Does anybody remember inherit? All right. Thy seed shall yarash, right? Thy seed shall yarash, right? But that makes sense because Yah is like hand, Rash is like head, and then Shah is sharp teeth. So it's like, you have, it's the hand and the reaching out, and you are the head, but you also have the ability to be, a consumer or a destroyer. So you're the head, you're reaching out, and there's something that's under you that you have authority over. So Yarash makes sense to me. So maybe if you want to, anybody could take that word, copy it, and you can, if you want to, you can be like, oh yeah, Yarash Hagoyam. Hey man, I'm gonna start saying the Yashala. Yarash Hagoyam, Yarash Goyam, Yarash Goyam. There we go. There's a phrase for our people. There's a phrase. It's a salute. It's like saying bye. Yarash Goyam, wish you luck. You inherit the Gentiles. So anywho, so with that being said, so we see that the Most High does say that we will inherit the Gentiles, right? It doesn't say that we're going to kill all the Gentiles, all Gentiles are this, that. No, you have to inherit the people so you can teach them. Come on, man. Grow up, y'all. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 4, fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither shalt thou be confounded, for this shall not, for thou shalt not be put to shame, for thou shall forget the shame of thy youth, and shall not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. And this is another way we know this entire portion right here is talking to our mother Jerusalem. All right. Now, if you want to take this internally, take this personally, you can. But what I want you to do is take it literally. Imagine your mother, and that's the example. It's our mother Yerushalayim, our mother Jerusalem. And she's been through some really bad stuff. She's been beaten. She's been raped. She's been kicked out into the street. People have been rude against her. All praise Yahweh. Hallelujah. So we don't want to see nothing like that happen to our Amayim. So anybody we know is inherit the Gentiles ready to give. Yeah, man. Inheritance, Gentiles ready to give and inherit. Yeah, man. And that's something that's beautiful about that is that there's Gentiles that are currently ready to not only be a blessing, they're currently ready to bless. Like Gentiles are ready to give. And the hardest part about it is that Israelites don't make it very easy to be accepted, or they don't make it very easy to be amalgamated with. You know what I'm saying? Especially the Israelite women. You know what I'm saying? So. But we should, yeah, man, ready to give truth, inherit and give truth, right? Yeah. So over everything, we should be at a place to where now we've all grown up some. We should be willing to understand and to be able to teach the principles that the Father said. So I was teaching a brother earlier today about how Josephus said we're to treat the Gentiles. We're not supposed to be, harsh or mean towards the Gentiles. And it's just so nasty to see, how Israelites behave, man, when we could be so much more, you know what I'm saying? So some people might not like it, but that's what I read. That's what I've seen. If you disagree with me, then, you know what I'm saying? I love to have a sit down with your elder, you know what I'm saying? But the Most High says that's how we're to behave, right? And that's us as a people. So let's get back to this prophecy, Isaiah chapter 54, verse 7. And look, we're only reading down to 10. And then we're done with this week's Torah portion with the prophet portion and the gospel. So that means we're halfway done with the video. We're halfway done with the class, right? So prayerfully, somebody learned a lot. If you have any questions, bring them out, present them, ask me. Let's do it. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 7. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh thy Redeemer. For this is as the what? Is as the waters of Noah to me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah shall no more overflow the earth, so have I sworn that I will not be wroth with thee forever, nor rebuke thee. Last verse. For the mountains shall depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith Yahweh that have mercy on thee. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, so we just read Matthew chapter, I believe it's 24, just a moment ago also. And when we finished Matthew chapter 24, we've seen a few things that Hamashiach said the same thing in the New Testament. And if you missed it, just go back and watch the beginning of this video. I think this video is going to be really short. All right, but Hamashiach, the Messiah, he said the same thing. He said, you can see the seasons and the times and, and these things won't stand. But, it's so beautiful because you can see the Torah, the prophets, and the gospel all line up together. Like you can really see them all line up together because they precept themselves. So he also gives us an outline of what's going to happen in these times to come. All right. Here's a very compassionate verse. The Most High said that in a little wrath, I hid my face from thee for a moment. So the children of Israel, not only us, but our land, our mother, Yerushalayim, our home, we've been afflicted in a place that's not ours. We're just, we call it outcasts. We call them we're a nation in exile. But this land isn't really our land, as we already know. But the Most High tells us that, well, and even if some say, well, yeah, blacks was already here or we was already here. Yeah, that's true. But there's also a land that's been promised to us that we were forcibly removed from, that we are initial aristocratical citizens of, that we need to get back to, and that's Jerusalem, right? So the Most High says, in a little wrath, he hid his face from us for a moment. And he hasn't forgot about all these Israelites that's being hung from trees right now in America, man. Salute to our sister Renette Brooks. Sister Renette Brooks, your sister in the faith, all right, as the New Testament call them, sister in Christ, sister in faith. And the reason being is because what? Because that sister keeps up on more Israelites being murdered and broadcasting it louder than Israelites do. A lot of stuff that's happening in the world with Gentiles murder Israelites, you have Gentiles that are publicizing information. The Israelites are so quiet on it. So the Most High, he's put us through this wrath. And for this time frame, he said, it's like when a child is in trouble by their parent. The parent might not want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you right now. Well, it makes the child feel sad because the children, we love our parents. And when we do something wrong or when we spill a bowl of milk or something like that and our parents aren't happy with us, we can recognize that. So it makes us feel something. So what did the Most High say? He says, in a little wrath, I hid my face from thee for a moment. So to us, it's been 6,000 years. But the scripture says 1,000 years is but unto a day unto the Lord. It's like the Lord went into his room for 6,000 years and he's coming out of his room on a 7,000 years, something like that. I don't know. I don't want to false prophesy or like that. I don't making up time. I ain't trying to do that. But that's what it's like, you know what I'm saying? So he says in his wrath, and any of you that's a parent, you can relate to this. I hid my face from thee. Go over there. I don't want to sit down. I don't want to talk. And what did the baby do? They're not happy about it. It hurts their feelings. They cry until they're reunited with their parent, right? He says, but with everlasting kindness. So you got people talking about you can't find any attributes of Yahweh in the Bible. Here's an attribute of Yahweh right there, kindness. But with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh. There's another attribute of Yahweh, mercy. There's another attribute. The Most High says he'll have mercy and kindness on our mother Jerusalem and on her children, which are the Israelites. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. If I have sworn that the waters shall no more overflow the earth, so have I sworn that I will not be wroth with thee forever. Or excuse me, will not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. All right. So what do we see? We see the Most High giving us mercy once again after great judgment. But we have something to really take into consideration. All right. Let's get let's see. Let's get Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews on the Rainbow. Please, Keisha, don't interrupt class. Don't bust out talking. Okay. All right. So it's very important for us to understand this principle, and prayerfully we can find it. All right. We're just going to go to the book. All right. Josephus. Oh. I want to tell it to you, but I'd rather read it to you so you be like, oh, okay. So we're in the book of Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews. This is book number 1 concerning the interval of 1,833 years from the creation of death, from creation to the death of Isaac. All right. So let's see. Let's scroll down to see where we at. The waters. No. Oh, okay. Okay. I know where we're going. Concerning the posterity of Adam, his 10 generations from the deluge, concerning the flood, and after what manner Noah was saved in the ark. Okay. Saved from the deluge, concerning the flood. After what manner he was saved in the ark, and afterwards dwelt in the plains of Shinar. Let's go here. This might be what we're looking for. I'm gonna see if I can. Let me see if I can find it. Oh man, I don't like this page. All right, boom. All right, Vine claiming having 600 year Noah's government. God gave the signal. It began to rain. Waters of the barbarian histories. Now, watch this real quick. Let me get this to you so you can copy, paste, and look this up for yourself. All right. So I like to use Flavius Josephus because he's a viable historian. Now, I know this is going to seem like a lot, but once you look at it, you're like, oh, that's not a lot. This isn't on the subject we was talking about, but I want to make this pit stop so I get this jewel. All right. Now look at this. It says, now all the writers. Now all the writers of barbarian histories, or in other words, Gentiles or other people that's not from our nationality. Now all the writers of barbarian histories make mention of what? This flood and of this ark, among whom is Berosus the Chaldean. For when he was describing the circumstance of the flood, he goes on to say thus, and it is said, there is still some part of that ship in Armenia in the mountain of the Chaldeans, and that some people carry off pieces of bitumen, which they take away and use chiefly as amulets for the averting of mischiefs. So you'll see in Turkey. In the country of Turkey, people have the evil eye symbol, or they'll have something hanging around. These things are used as kind of in a sense to say enchantments. You know what I'm saying? So this whole symbol from the evil eye actually came from this. But the point of saying that is to prove that Noah's Ark is actually real, and there are people that are outside of the Israelite community that proved that Noah's Ark is in a mountain encapsulated in ice. So you have 2026 to where the now Turkish government has proven that they have Noah's Ark up in the mountain. And the US and the CIA has proven it too in the document called the Mount Ararat Anomaly. Let's look at this real quick. It says, now I have for witness to what I have said all those that have written the antiquities, both among the Greeks and the barbarians, for even Manetho, who wrote the Egyptian history, and Berosus, who collected the Chaldean monuments, and Malchus, and Hestius, and besides these, Heromaias, the Egyptian, and all those who composed the Phoenician history agree to what I say. Esad also, and Hecataeus, and Hellenasius, and Archelaus, and besides these, Ephorus and Nicholas relate that the ancients lived 1,000 years. So Flavius Josephus's account on the flood is so in depth that he actually not only tells you his account, but Josephus also tells you what the Gentiles say. And this is why I rock with his teaching, because he was so wise. Like Josephus really taught. He wasn't interested in omitting information. He was interested in sharing information. So Flavius Josephus was excellent. The water, flavor of Flavius Josephus. Questions, Zaquan. Should we love Esau and Egyptian? Yes. 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 The answer to the question is the Most High said, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite. All right. So we just read that in the Torah portion. It's not lawful for us to hate Edomites. The scripture says, because they are our brother. Now, if the Most High says, Jacob I have loved, but Esau I have hated, that's because he has the capacity, he has the right. But he actually gives us instructions on how to be with other nations, how to treat other nations. All right. So we should not be teaching to hate Esau or Egyptians, that's something I've done in the past. So I went in, I used to be these Hamites, and I'd be like, yo, these Edomites, and all this other stuff. And I think the Most High just seasoned my tongue a little bit more through experience. But at the same time, it still showed me, no, it's not lawful if he tells us, I'm sorry. Oh, really? If he tells us not to, right? So the Most High blatantly tells us, thou shalt not abhor Edomite, for he is thy brother, and thou wast in Egypt in bondage. Right? But then he tells us how to treat them. So I love to read that to you a little bit later. And that principle right there is specifically just on, okay, when the Gentiles come around, how do we treat them? The scripture says, treat them humane. Josephus taught us how to treat the Gentiles with respect, even to their death. The Most High says, rejoice not at the death of thy greatest enemy. It's kind of crazy though, But anyway, so I absolutely teach the principle that Yasharallah, that we are to hold fast to being obedient, to loving the Most High, and hating the thing that he hates. If there's a Gentile that comes and they want to keep the customs of the Most High, they absolutely should. So any other questions on that, please let me know. All right, let's get this started. And let's see, we are right here. So as we see the Most High gave us the principle of protecting us. All right, we see in the law of the Torah, all right, how we're not supposed to take a baby and its dam. All right, this week's Torah portion is going to be Deuteronomy chapter 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. All right, what I just did was I did the gospel and I did the prophets. All right. All right. If it's not too late for everybody, all right, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the video here. All right, I'll come back and read Deuteronomy chapter 21 through chapter 25. All right, and to the families that's in India, namaskar, namaste. Anihab lakam, you got to teach me how to say that. And shalom lakam, kwam yasharala. Water. Let me check out some of these comments before I get up out of here, though. I had an engagement. I was supposed to be going to this synagogue. I'm supposed to be going to another Israelite synagogue here in Cincinnati. So I got to contact them and see if I can start heading my way there. All right. So, Tawada, greatly appreciate you. All right. Brother said, IUIC and other camps are not allowing Esau or other Egyptians to be as servants to Israel. Well, if you know any Israelites that's like that, then tell your Gentile friends. Uh, Tell your Gentile friends to connect with GOCC. If you can find a good GOCC, all right, Church of God and Connected to Jesus Christ, I think, GOCC. And also if you know any that are in Cincinnati, there's a brother whose name is Debaria. He's another beautiful brother. So Gentiles are accepted within our culture and nationality just through specific pockets. And there's some who won't. And I guess it seems like it's up to their discretion. Seems like it. But the Most High told us how to behave. You know what I mean? So yeah, they preach hate, and I think that a part of it is because they've gotten outside of the simplicity of Yahushua. They've gotten outside of the simplicity of Christ, or the simplicity of how messed up we are, and how we're actually supposed to be bringing everybody back to Christ. So, all right, well, Anya Blakam, I love y'all. Yabarakam, Yabasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy your Sabbath. Read your Torahs. If you can't read it, listen to it. All right. And most as well. I'll see y'all in a few hours. All right. Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.